Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Good morning and welcome to Talkin Sports. Along with DC Hendricks, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. If you would like to be part of the show, you can do so via the Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana text line at 260-447-8500. That's 260-447-8500. If you have a question, comment, suggestion, we got Mike Nutter on the line. He'll be with us momentarily. And then we've got a very special show for you that is going to continue with the baseball mode. And we will have Mr. Dave Bischoff, longtime coach of the New Haven Bulldogs baseball organization, or as they say in Canada, organization. And James Craig, who has umpired more than 40 years, and he also officiates football, and I think he does everything else too. Anyway, we're going to talk to those guys, and I might just sit back and listen to these two guys chat is what it may end up happening, because the stories and the experiences they've had are epic. So anyway, with that said, once again, if you have a question for them or for Mike, the Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana text line, 260-447-8500. And let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Summit Choice Credit Union, because waiting there patiently is Mr. Mike Nutter. Mike, good morning, sir. Okay, well, we seem to have lost Mr. Nutter. We will effort to get him back. In the meantime, let's go to Fort Wayne Sports History, the book by Blake Sebring, with a calendar event looking at what's going on in Fort Wayne sports. On this date, July 11th, in 1951, the Lincoln Lifers beat the Washington Senators 1-0 behind the pitching of Philadelphia Phillies star Curt Simmons. Also in 1986, Dominique Wilkins and Ron Harper highlight the Walter Jordan Parade of Stars game. Wilkins scored 51, Harper 49. East beat the West 184-180 in overtime before more than 4,000 fans at IPFW. Also in 1990, the Franke brothers purchased the defunct Flint Spirits, moved the team to Fort Wayne as the New Comets. And by the way, we are saddened to learn of the death of Comet co-owner Mr. Bill Franke, who passed away on Wednesday at age 85. And as a Fort Wayne sports fan, Bill ran the coolest store in town, in my opinion, Comet Quarters. It was everything Comets and everything hockey that you could imagine over in the little strip mall, where the XL store is on Coliseum near Coldwater and such. But our condolences to the Franke family. Also in 1967, Steve Hargan is named the American League All-Star roster, but he can't play because, of an injury. So Steve Hargan, one of the, in the 60s, one of the few Fort Wayne connections to make the majors and pitch in the majors. We've had several since then, and that just shows you what baseball's like in Northeast Indiana. So let's take a look. And we are good to go now with Mike Nutter. Mike, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jim. Sorry the call dropped. My wife and I are out in the middle of nowhere, but we wanted to check in with you real quick before you turn it over to the baseball royalty.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, I'm looking at the schedule, and you play today and tomorrow on the road, I believe, at West Michigan. Then you've got 4 days off for the All-Star break. And then there's a futures game. And tell me a little of the significance of the Fort Wayne Tincaps in the futures game.
Absolutely. So the futures game, it's one or two of the top prospects from each major league organization. And the Fort Wayne Tincaps are one of two teams in the entire country 120 minor league teams, and 2 of us have had a player make it every year for the last 5 years. And wouldn't you know it, it's the Great Lakes Loons, also in our own division, who's a Dodgers affiliate. And so Tincaps fans think back to some of the great names the last handful of years, Ethan Salas and Leo DeVries and Jackson Merrill, who's already made a Major League All-Star game, and Bobby Hassel and others. So this is the 5th year in a row the Tincaps will be represented. This year it's Cash Mayfield. He'll get to pitch out in Philadelphia at the same stadium where the Phillies play, and they do the Major League All-Star game, and so that's really cool. The Major League Draft starts today, and so there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's just an exciting time in baseball.
It certainly is, and of course with the All-Star break, and they're trying to, at least the Major League Baseball All-Star game has some meaning and has reason to play in the late innings, unlike maybe perhaps some of the other sports, but still. Let's get back to Tincaps baseball, and of course the next homestand will start on July 21st, and is that the Lake County Captains there?
It is. That's the Cleveland Guardians, and it's loaded. It's we're going to hit it hard before those 3 dreaded words of back to school. And so Tuesday night we'll come back with Family Feast, and Peppa Pig is a big one for the young kids. Then Wednesday, it's our only day game, midweek day game of the year at 12:05. Then Thursday, fireworks and strikeout stroke with a pregame band on Thursday. We've raised thousands and thousands of dollars to strikeout stroke. And then it's pretty cool, the 24th and 25th. It's Christmas Eve in July and then Christmas in July with fireworks both nights. We just launched our Christmas lights promotion for for the upcoming fall and winter. And then we wrap it up with a Manzana's Luchadoras, a rally towel giveaway, and post-game autographs. And here's the reality. The team's not playing the best. It's been kind of a common theme the last couple years, but the ballpark's filled. People are still coming out for the entertainment, see their family and friends. And then you'll have a game like July 4th. We walked it off in the bottom of the 14th after tying it in the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. You might have read on Facebook that I was the guy that held up the City of Fort Wayne fireworks show for an hour. Don't believe everything you read on that positive beacon of Facebook, but the boys walked it off in front of 8,100 in a top 5 game that's ever been played at Parkview Field.
Yes, indeed. And my first thought when I saw some of the comments of those completely not aware was, Mike has to deal with this now. Okay. It's incredible, the short-sightedness of some people and the entitlement, perhaps.
4 hours and 48 minutes, crisp game time. They said with the ghost runner on second and pitch clocks, you couldn't play 4 hour and 48 minutes, Jim, but we've been proving people wrong for years.
There you go. Well, we had a question come in on the Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana text line at 260-447-8500. It says, when do tickets go on sale for the 2027 season, Mike?
Great question. We have a working draft of the schedule that Major League Baseball got us. We're hoping to give it away at the end of the year where we've done 18-month calendars the last few years. And then last year's single game tickets and group tickets and things like that went on sale in October. And so we'll get out there and let people know it's 66 home games. We actually love the schedule. We wish we had July 4th like we've had most years, but we don't in 2027. But it's a good schedule. We're excited. There is one back-to-back, but it's at the end of May. So the staff will be a little more refreshed than when we try and do it to end the season here this year with 12 straight home games.
Oh, goodness.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us this morning while traveling. We appreciate it. Tell Beth we said hello, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Absolutely. You got 2 of my all-time favorites when we were on the circuit. Coach Bischoff, we've seen him play so many games at Parkview Field and the Parkview Sports Medicine over the year. And the one thing we were sure about, if we got out of the car and James Craig and his crew were there umpiring, we knew we were in great hands. So have a great show, my friend.
Indeed. Thank you, Mike. That was Mike Nutter, president of the Fort Wayne Tincaps, in our weekly Tincaps chat. And DC, you want to break, or you just want to? Okay, let's go out and take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking with Dave Bischoff, head coach of the New Haven Bulldogs baseball team, and James Craig, who is wrapping up a 40-plus year officiating career. And like I said, I'm probably going to be tempted to just sit back and listen to these guys tell stories. Oh, anyway, we'll be back with more. You're listening to Talkin Sports on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
You might not be thinking of Christmas yet, but Goodwill Industries is. It's Christmas in July in all 8 of our Northeast Indiana stores for the entire month of July. Hi, I'm Kevin Morse, President and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana, and I'm inviting you to celebrate Christmas every day of July by getting 50% off Christmas decor through July 31st. And to help you get ready for back to school, we'll be holding a 50% off store-wide sale on Saturday, July 25th. So 50% off all Christmas decor every day in July and 50% off store-wide on Saturday, July 25th. When you donate or shop at Goodwill, you help us work with people with barriers to employment find meaningful work in our community. You also help high school students with disabilities between the ages of 14 and 22 get the extra help they need in preparing for finding a job when they're done with school. Please visit any or all of our 8 Goodwill stores in Northeast Indiana and enjoy 50% off store-wide on Saturday, July 25th, and 50% off Christmas decor every day in July. Some restrictions apply. Our stores are open 10 to 7 Monday through Friday, 10 to 6 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday. Thanks for supporting the mission of Goodwill, and remember, your donations are accepted at all Goodwill locations.
Grab your clubs and circle the date. WOWO's 5th annual Penny Pitch Golf Outing is set for Thursday, June 25th at Noble Hawk Golf Links. Hey, it's KB here. Join me, Casey Hendrickson from The Burning Truth, and the whole WOWO crew for a day of golf, laughs, and maybe a few questionable swings. Doesn't matter if you're a scratch golfer or just scratching your head, we want you out there. And the best part, your entry supports this year's Penny Pitch charity and includes golf, cart, swag bag, drinks, and a whole lot of food. Register now at WOWO.com.
This isn't a job for people looking to coast. This is for people who want to compete. Because in this market, every business is fighting for attention, and every salesperson is fighting for results. Some people still think media sales is old school. They're wrong. Today it's radio, digital, streaming, social, all working together to help local businesses win. And the people who know how to connect it all, they're not just salespeople, they're playmakers. No shortcuts, no excuses. Just opportunity and the work it takes to make it. We'll train you. We'll coach you. We'll give you the tools. But when the clock starts, it's on you to deliver. So the question is simple. Do you want a job, or do you want the ball in your hands when it matters? Because the future of media isn't declining. It's evolving. And we're looking for people ready to lead it. Apply now at federatedmedia.com. Federated Media is an equal opportunity employer.
When accidents happen on the road, you have a choice when it comes to repairing your vehicle. And Fort Wayne drivers are choosing Glenbrook Collision Center. Glenbrook Collision Center uses OEM replacement parts designed specifically for your vehicle because your safety matters. They are factory certified in Ford, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, and Mercedes-Benz, while proudly repairing all makes and models with precision and care. Glenbrook Collision Center's state-of-the-art equipment and over 150 years of combined experience mean your vehicle is repaired the right way the first time. Remember, insurance companies cannot tell you where to repair your vehicle. As the owner, you have the right to choose your repair shop. So choose quality, choose experience, choose the shop Fort Wayne trusts. Choose right. Choose Glenbrook Collision Center. Glenbrook Collision Center, serving Fort Wayne with certified collision repair you can trust.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports for a Saturday, July 11th. Along with DC Hendricks, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts till the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. If you have a question, comment, suggestion, opinion, etc., do so via the Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana text line at 260-447-8500, and we'll see about getting that on the air for you. And it is my distinct pleasure to welcome a couple of in-studio guests this morning. Dave Bischoff, the head coach at New Haven High School in the baseball program, has been there since, I believe, 1984, if I'm not mistaken.
First season was the 84-85 season.
And James Craig, who I think has been officiating baseball games
since 1985.
Since 1985. Okay, you watch Bischoff coach and you go, I can control him.
I thought I could, but it was a manageable situation that I negotiated.
There we go. Well, we've got James Craig, Dave Bischoff in studio for the rest of the program, and the stories they can tell are going to be incredible. But first, let's get started, Bish, how this all unfolded, and tell the listeners a little bit about how this got started.
Well, the grade school where my grandkids go now, where both my sons went, St. Peter Emmanuel, they have a fundraiser every spring, and you were our MC for the evening, and a part of your you donated an morning with Jim Shovlin, and I won the lottery on that one. So
you can't win if you don't play.
That's right.
So with that. You got to co-host 1 week of Talkin Sports, and we selected July 11th. And then in talking with you, of course, with our baseball backgrounds, you said, what would be cool? It'd be cool to have an umpire come in. Can you get a hold of Jimmy Craig? And I said, I think I can. And so I went through social media, messaged Jimmy, and boom, right back. And he was available, and he said, I can be there at any time. And here he is. And so I've been looking forward to this thing for quite some time, of course. And but gentlemen, welcome to the show. And it's just it's great to have you. I think, Dave, you've been on in the past.
Yeah, I was on
with your sons, I believe.
I think when they were both at Purdue, I think the three of us came in.
Okay. So let's talk. And what I want to do is pose some questions. And with your longevity and tenure, both of you, how has the game changed? I might have just taken the climax question and put it right in the front, but how has the game changed on the local level? Let's put it this way.
Yeah, Coach, I'll let you start, and then I'll.
Well, primarily, at least in terms of the amateur level, when I started coaching, we had a very active, Connie Mack program and a Stan Musial program. And that's how I probably got to know a lot of these umpires through those leagues prior to me being a head coach. And those are very active leagues at that time.
Yeah, let me piggyback onto that because this is going to be something, a negative that I'm going to throw out there. Back in the days when we had the Connie Mack and the Stan Musial and all that, it was great to have a neighborhood situation where all the kids were right here. Some of the kids that played high school ball and little league ball all stayed together. Now we have a situation where we have travel ball. You got parents paying $3,000 during the summer and running all across the place, and everybody's screaming and yelling about how great your kid is. I don't necessarily think that's a good idea. I really don't.
I think it's been a slowly evolution. I think one of the things that made a big difference in terms of the local level, for years we had icons in the community. Red Carrington running the Musial League. You had Colin Lister and running in many respects Dick Crumback. You had George Glick with Little League. You had guys, not to mention some of the coaches, which is a long list of people, who were strictly volunteers, servants of the game, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a shortage of those people who are willing to put in the time to run a league of that level, coordinate umpires on that level as well. So, I get the fact that for a lot of people, travel ball has become somewhat of a necessity because there's not those avenues for them locally to play, whether it be at a local little league or in terms of the high school program, you don't have those teams.
Yeah, amen. I agree with that. And I also think that, going back to what I was kind of getting at, you've got kids playing baseball all year long. You've got them playing fall ball. You've got that. And I don't necessarily think that's a good idea. I'd like to see them play multiple sports and do multiple things. I mean, if you're a baseball player, yeah, you should focus on that, but it shouldn't be the one thing that you're all consumed with. Earlier, we talked about something, and I just wanted to throw this out there. In terms of the way the game is played today, when I look at Dave, Dave's an old school guy.
Right.
And I absolutely love the way they play baseball, and I don't mean that negatively. I mean that positively. What you do is you hit the contact, you play fundamentals, you score the run, you move the run forward. One run's fine. You don't need to hit a 3-run bomb. But all of a sudden, we've got kids now coming up with a 3-0 count swinging. Are you kidding me? We can't. That's not the baseball that I grew up with.
Right.
It's just changed.
Yeah. Well, in the unwritten rules of baseball that you followed back in the day, if you will, that are just out the window now. Like the 3-0 count and things, and just like I said, the two things as a coach that I despise are, the ball four. I hate ball four when I'm coaching, and I hate a called third strike when the kid's got a $500 bat that's still on his shoulder when strike 3 comes right down the middle. Mom and dad just paid $500 for this bat, and you're not going to use it because you didn't think it was a good enough pitch. But
you mentioned big change. I know one thing I haven't heard in 40 years probably, and from the stands is keep the trademark up.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
The demise of the wood bat.
Yeah, the demise of the wood bat is still making an appearance.
I thought it was nice for a few years in the NE8, I believe it was at the time, when we played with the wood bats.
Yeah.
I thought that was wonderful. I mean, we got a little bit lower scoring games. They were a little faster, and it just sounded like baseball because you didn't hear that ping,
I remember when I was coaching, I was a volunteer coach at Dwenger for about 10 years off and on, and I was out at a Connie Mack game the one summer, and I was talking to, Andy Helmer, who ended up getting drafted a couple, maybe 3 times. He played Division I college and then went on, and he asked me, he said, "Coach, did you ever play wood bat?" And I said, "Yes, I did." I said it was called high school at the time because we didn't have the bomb bats or the Tennessee Thumpers. They came out just after my graduation. And so, that was just one of those things but that was part of the, you pitched to contact, you played small ball, and yeah, it wasn't a case where, even your number 7 or number 8 hitters could be a bona fide power hitter. Because of the aluminum bats, but hey, it is what it is now. There's longevity, but then with that comes the price. But I remember when I was a senior in high school, my baseball coach, Dave Scudder, used to send me out to Hartzler's on Calhoun Street to pick up a load of baseball bats, and because we had a need for them, and so I get out at noon, go out to Hartzler's, pick them up. Sign the PO and bring them all back.
Coach Bischoff, I got a question here, and it's something that's always gotten me in the age of aluminum bats. If you know you have a guy that's going to bunt, why don't you guys just keep a wooden bat in the dugout, and he just strolls up there and bunts with that?
Oh, I'd probably have to give him an instructional manual
on how to
use a wooden bat.
Okay, all right. Okay, there we go. That's always gotten me.
But to your point, I think the aluminum bat changed the game in the sense that so many more players became offensive players. Exactly. So consequently, the strategy of the game changed and the evolution of that. I think now that the aluminum bat has been deadened from those hot bats, the Black Magic Easton, those with a 3/4-inch barrel and the,
Oh yeah.
I think the game has kind of moved back. I've seen a lot more small ball in the last 3-4 years than I did 10, 15 years ago. So that part's moved back. But, to the point of when you were playing locally early on years ago, you had a name on the front of your jersey, whether it's Crumbacks or you played for St. Joe Athletic Club or whomever you played for, that front of the jersey was a source of pride. I don't know that you have that source of pride when the front of your name says the force, the wind, the big K or whatever.
Chico's bail bonds was a great name.
Yeah. But I think when you played for a name on the front of the jersey, and now I see so many teams, what they have on the front of the jersey is immaterial. It's make sure that their name is spelled correctly on the back.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I think that changes to a degree the way in which you approach the game because, Frank, you're trying to get noticed. And so there's some subtleties there that I think have changed the game, not intentionally, but unintentionally.
What about other equipment? And I mentioned the oven mitts, but James, what about the armor? And from the perspective of umping the plate and the guys that come up with all kinds of padding on, does that adjust your thought process when calling balls and strikes or hit by pitch?
Yes, big time. If you're going to walk up here, looking like, the Comets goalie, swinging a bat, you had better be moving to get out of the way. We've got guys leaning over the plate, getting hit in the elbow. I'm not saying I want guys to get hurt, but there was a time when you strolled up there, you would get plunked. And I understand the game and I understand the subtleties of this guy's probably going to get plunked. Don't turn around and say anything. Just go to first base.
So what you're saying is you don't want him to get hurt, but a nice take-home bruise is fine?
That absolutely. Okay. Amen. Absolutely.
That'll heal.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess my proposed rule change is whatever you wear to the plate, you have to wear around the bases.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
As for the oven mitt, I don't know what use that is. Break your finger. You'll learn to slide better.
Little badge of courage there.
Well, the feet first slide, feet or foot first, but has gone. It's out of existence as well. So if everybody's sliding head first, I see why they're using an oven mitt, and I think that the reason they don't slide feet first is it's just not taught.
Oh yeah, and that takes us back to the subtleties of the game and the basics.
Yeah,
we're not teaching these things.
Well, yeah, and you had to learn to slide feet first or snap an ankle,
right? Perhaps.
So, I remember practicing in my side yard in the grass, and then my dad would ask me, "Why is there a bare spot?" Well, Dad, that's second base.
Yeah, all these things we're talking about, all of these places are gone. There are no sandlots anymore to go to. You almost have to go to an academy or someplace else in order to practice, in order to play the game. And I did see a kid the other day was walking down the street with a glove and a ball, and I thought that was wonderful out of my neighborhood. But you don't see that very often anymore.
Well, yeah, our bat bags back there again. Here I go old school and everything. Bat bags were the handlebars of our bikes,
right?
And we'd slide our glove through there, put our bat. I had the good fortune. The reason I got what they called the ram horn handlebars was so I could fit my bat through there and then ride my bike up to St. Joe Little League and play, whatever. Or ride it over to Swarthmore Woods where they had a little backstop and we'd play all day. But, that was simpler times and, maybe simpler minds too. I don't know. But no, it's that's where the game has changed. But and it's so rare anymore. I remember I marveled at seeing some kids when it was about 90-some degrees out a few summers ago. I was driving up State Street past St. Peter's Lutheran Church and School, and back in the corner of their grass part of their playground, they had a backstop, and there were kids actually out there playing wiffle ball. And I thought,
I think that was during an electrical outlet.
That had to be. Yeah. That had to be. But nonetheless, it much enjoyed by myself as I drove by. It's like, yeah, there's kids out there playing ball. They get it.
I mean, we've driven the negative side here, but a positive. I think in some respects, the kids still want to play. You know, I mean, they still want to play. They still want to be coached. And they still want some structure, and all that's good. I just think that the avenues that they've chosen, you know, you go to an academy now because you're playing less catch, you know, and that type of thing. And there's a ton of other things to do. Has the quality of the game changed? You know, I think it ebbs and flows. I'm not so, you know, I think we had a great run when we had a lot of guys playing, you know, past high school. I don't know that the game has changed that we're not currently. I just think it's kind of an ebb and flow thing. I don't know necessarily that we're playing worse baseball either.
Yeah. Now, Bish, when you were a standout at Belmont High School on the baseball team back in the mid-70s.
Probably people in Decatur would object to that, but go ahead.
We'll do it.
We'll run with that.
For radio's sake. Who was your hitting instructor? Who did you go to for your private instruction?
Well, I think that probably the biggest hitting instruction you had at that day was figure it out. You know, to a degree. We had a guy named Gary Bussey who was a pretty good player in his day in the Senior Fed League at the time. You know, and he gave hitting instruction, but the instruction at that time was not an overanalyze. You know, we weren't trying to keep our hands inside the ball and, you know, pick up, rotate, that type of thing. You know, drive the ball hard up the middle. And if you're a little early, it goes to the left center gap. If you're a little late, it goes to right center.
Lead with the hands and go oppo.
So in that respect, you know, our game today perhaps we're overtaught and underplayed.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Hey, we're going to step out, take a break, and then we'll come back with more Dave Bischoff and James Craig and your questions on the Goodwill Industries of Northeast Indiana text line at 260-447-8500. We'll be right back with more. You're listening to Talkin Sports on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Easy Cater, the workplace food platform, makes it easy to order food for all your workplace needs.
From favorite restaurants, don't forget that.
Who are you?
Tina. I'm Tina. I use Easy Cater at my job.
Well, I am the voice of Easy Cater. Don't you have work to do?
Not as much now that Easy Cater saves me all that time ordering food for the office, with great options for any group size or budget, all on one platform. Just trying to spread the word.
Fine, let's do the last bit together. Easy Cater, it's all the food for your workplace.
All in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
Oh, you're not terrible.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports. Along with DC Hendricks, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And we are in studio this morning with Dave Bischoff, head baseball coach at New Haven High School, home of the Bulldogs, and James Craig, official. If you've gone to any high-level games, you've probably seen James either behind the plate or on the base. It's usually behind the plate. And, okay, we're gonna shift gears just a little bit, and I'm going to ask both of you the same question. Bish, who is the best pitcher in the local area you ever saw, and who is the best hitter you ever saw?
No, I mean,
and it could be coaching, playing, because you played a long time as well.
Yeah, you could have given me a heads up on that one.
That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
That's a question.
Now at least Jimmy's got a little time to think.
Yeah, right? I mean, I told my high school kids at the high school level, my first game I played in high school, I played against Bishop Lures and I struck out twice. And second game, we played Wayne, and I struck out twice. And the two guys I faced were Butch Wickensheimer and Steve Reed. And I thought, man, I ain't going to hit this level. And didn't do much for my confidence. I would say Steve Reed was probably as good as anybody I've seen, batted against and saw. I mean, there's other guys that we ran across, different times, but some of it has to do with sample size. I mean, I saw Reed in high school. I saw him, watched him progress up, the chain, and then I saw him when he came back. So perhaps from a larger sample size, I'd lean toward him. He's a first-round draft choice. I think that says
the Reds,
something right there. Hitter, oh my gosh. High school, I don't know if there was too many better than Dave Doster, who I had. If I want to go back to playing in the Musial League, some of the old-timers would probably attest to this. Joe McComb.
Really?
Joe McComb from McComb Construction. Joe had the sweetest swing, and, I saw him playing his, all the way through his 40s, and that swing was still sweet, just in terms of being able to rake the ball. But, again, I'd have to say, if I sat down and think, I know I could come up with 5 or 6 equal to that, too.
I faced Steve Reed once when he was a senior at Wayne, and I was a sophomore at Dwenger, and I couldn't get out of that batter's box fast enough. And thank God he threw 3 in a row over the plate, because I didn't swing. I took a bat I could have taken a great big 2x4 with, because I wasn't going to get it off my shoulder. And that was scary to me. My goodness. But, Steve threw hard. He was around the plate, and, oh, my goodness, worthy of his first-round draft selection by the Cincinnati Reds. All right, Jimmy Craig.
The pitcher's going to be easy. The hitters, I've seen a million. So
right.
Nobody really, guys stand out, but I've just seen so many. But as for pitching, Jared Parker. I would absolutely.
DC used to face him in high school.
Yeah, it was just overpowering. We'll put it that way. And he should have won another state championship down there against, I believe it was Jasper. I believe he threw a strike right down the middle of the plate. It was called a ball, and Jasper scored on the next pitch. So I have had issues with that. Hey, if I can switch something up, Dave and I were talking about this earlier, and I just want to get back to officiating.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I just retired, and we are in need of officials on every level here. And if it's something you're thinking about doing, you can contact the IHSAA. We have local associations here, and we really need to get people out there. One of the things Dave was talking about that the IHSAA has put into place at the high school level for high school seniors, and I'll let him talk about this a little bit more, is they are teaching an online class to help you get your official's license. And it also gives you credit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Coach Bish, you want to say anything else about that?
Yeah, and again, I'm not too familiar with it because I've stepped out of the classroom, but they offer an online class through the IHSA, in partnership with the IHSA, and they can get their license. I'm going to say volleyball, basketball, baseball. I'm not sure what other sports as well. I was talking to Jim here, and I said it would be neat if they could take it one more step and allow some of those, students at the end of the class, and I'm speaking for baseball, but, let's say you have the senior who's just finished his classwork, and maybe he shadows an umpire at the JV high school level. He stands right in front of the umpire down the first baseline, makes the call, and then afterwards he gets a little bit of hands-on experience, game situation under the tutelage of some of our umpires. I think we need more umpires. We're fortunate this year. I think we have a great association. They're organized. They're great. I haven't had any complaints about the umpiring in terms of getting our game scheduled and stuff. Now, do I agree with every call? No, but that's part of the game. I think there's two big differences. The umpires, first, they're watching the play. We're watching the play and the scoreboard.
Yeah.
A close call I don't get, and we're down 7-0. Big deal. Let's keep it moving. 0-0, and it's a tying run. Then I'm going to be a little bit more discerning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are, too, for the most part, trying to stay because you don't want to change the complexion of the game with a call that you make.
Sure.
One call can change the entire complexion of a game, like Coach Bish here said. 7-0, it's probably not going to change the complexion. It goes. But 0-0 in the seventh inning, bottom of the seventh with the winning run on third base, that might change everything.
It's impactful.
It's very impactful.
Yes.
I just want to go back to this other thing. When I started officiating, the reason why I started officiating was I was playing American Legion ball down in Kentucky. I'm originally from St. Louis. I'm a Cardinals fan. But our coach said that you had to give back something to the game. And you could either scorekeep, groundskeeper, or umpire. The only one that paid was, there you go, babe. And that's how I started, doing T-ball and all that, a couple, 3 or 4 T-ball games, and stuck with it, and it's been fun. And like I say, kids can start off with that. It's I don't want to say it's easy money, but it's fun. It keeps you close to the game that you love. And I love the game of baseball. I love sport. And it keeps you there.
Jim, I have a question for you. How has just umpiring and umpires changed during your tenure?
I think that in terms of umpiring, we have standardized the things that we need to do in terms of positioning, all that. It's less of a free-flowing thing where you got guys out there pulling an Eric Gregg and calling pitches, 20 inches outside and having a problem with a coach. I think we normally talk things out. There's a freedom there. I think there was a golden era, and you can remember this. There was a golden era right about the late 1980s where Dave Switzer, myself, Mark Stoltz, Randy Gagline, Mark Met, everybody showed up at one time. And that was like the golden era of change in terms of local umpiring, because we were all going out to Battle Creek, and we were going out to New Mexico and Puerto Rico doing games, and Double ABC was still humming along. NABF was humming along. I think we took it a little more professionally at that point, and we imparted that knowledge to the officials that we have now in terms of baseball officiating. So I think guys take it a little more seriously. I know we take it seriously in that we don't need a guy showing up looking like he just pulled his clothes out of a tissue bag. You don't see that very much. But when you do see it, we're going to talk to that guy.
Yeah, and it's usually an indication it could be a long day.
It's going to be a long day if that's the case, because you're not looking professional. You can buy yourself 3 innings just by looking good. I mean, seriously.
Jim, when do you know, let's say you're going out to umpire a game, when do you know who your partner will be?
You know that weeks in advance for the most part, because now we have Event Link, and it's scheduled through there, so it'll show you your partner.
Okay.
Even when we didn't have Event Link, they would let you know who your partner is. Very rare you don't know unless somebody canceled and they have to bring in someone else.
And are there times when you know that with the maybe less than stellar partner that you have to take a little bit more of the game responsibility?
Yeah, there are sometimes when you will have to babysit.
Mm-hmm.
And there are sometimes, and Bish knows this, I'll show up with a guy and we both looked at each other. We both know what's going on here. And it's like, hey, let's just get through this thing and get out of here.
I had an umpire one time brought a rookie who overruled the home plate umpire 3 times on check swings. Second game of the doubleheader, the rookie's behind the plate. I asked for help. He refused to ask his veteran umpire on first base. And at that point, the umpire nodded at me. He says, "Go ahead, go get him." And and he goes,
"And I've seen you go get him."
And he says, "I'll keep you from getting tossed, but let him have an earful." I said, "Okay." So I thought, but the fact is, it was a teaching moment for the rookie in the sense that the veteran umpire knew that there was one thing he reminding him, and another thing having what happens when you don't work at both sides of the street.
It's a learning experience.
There you go. We're going to go ahead and step out, take a break, and we're going to come back with more Dave Bischoff, James Craig on Talkin Sports this morning. We'll be right back with more. You're listening to Talkin Sports on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Fort Wayne, bring home quality for half the price. Right now, get 2 $30 gift certificates to Carve Market for only $30. That's a $60 value for just $30. Discover hand-cut premium stocks and local favorites, all in one incredible market. Whether you're planning dinner tonight or the next backyard cookout, Carve Market has you covered. Get this deal before it's gone at MyDealsFortWayne.com. 2 $30 Carve Market gift certificates for only $30. Only on My Deals Fort Wayne.
Picture this. You're in your car, perhaps heading to a sporting event. Your tire pressure light comes on, your brakes are squeaking, and your dashboard is lit up like Christmas. Where do you go? McMahon's Best One. McMahon's Best One is your one-stop shop for full automotive service and repair. Whether it's a simple oil change or flat repair, to brakes, alignment, engine diagnostics, and more, McMahon's Best One can fix it all. With 8 service centers in Fort Wayne, New Haven, Lima, Ohio, and Bryan, Ohio, McMahon's Best One is here to accommodate you. Visit us at McMahon'sBestOneTire.com to make an appointment today.
The All-American Shortstop Sunoco on North Main Street in Bluffton is throwing a grand opening celebration on Monday, July 13th from 3 to 6 that you simply cannot miss. The biggest deal of the day, 90 cents off every gallon of gas. Fill up and save big time while checking out Bluffton's newest one-of-a-kind convenience store with an incredible sports-themed store location that you just got to see for yourself. And while you're there, enjoy free hot dogs and free homemade ice cream while supplies last. 99-cent fountain drinks, free giveaways and raffles, plus your chance to win Cedar Point passes, Fort Wayne Tincaps ticket packages, and more. Be sure to stop by the Hoosier Lottery prize wheel tent and spin to win even more prizes. Whoa will broadcast live from 3 to 5, so stop by for free prizes and giveaways. Don't miss out on the great fun, great food, and incredible savings, including 90 cents off a gallon. It's all Monday, 3 to 5, during the grand opening of the All-American Shortstop Sunoco, 1009 North Main Street in Bluffton.
Running a business is challenging enough without the added stress of uncertain insurance coverage. That's where Hoopy Insurance Services, in partnership with Indiana Farmers Insurance, can help. We take the time to understand the specific needs of your business, allowing us to tailor a coverage plan that's just right for you. Contact us today at 260-486-7488 or visit us online at hupe-insurance.com. Your business deserves more than just insurance. It deserves peace of mind.
Don't risk losing the news, sports, and weather that AM radio delivers. When cell and internet service fail, AM is your lifeline. With time running out, your voice matters. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
For over 40 years, Gibson's Heating and Plumbing has been a family-owned business built on professionalism, trust, and quality. As your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Gibson's is nationally recognized for excellence and locally known for being customer-loved. You'll see it in their work. You'll read it in the nearly 3,000 Google reviews. You'll experience it when they take care of your home. When you contact independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, GibsonsHeating.com. That's GibsonsHeating.com.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports for a Saturday, July 11th. Along with D.C. Hendricks, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until, 10 o'clock this morning. In studio guests with us this morning, Dave Bischoff, head baseball coach at New Haven High School, and James Craig, longtime baseball and football official. And we may need another show just to talk football officiating as well, Jimmy.
I would absolutely love to do that.
Well, then, guess what?
Let's focus about a 30-minute segment on the defensive coordinator with the hat on back. I want to talk about that guy.
But you're not bitter. Okay, great. We got some texts that have come in at the Goodwill Industries Northeast Indiana text line. And the one says, I never understood why you can wear that stuff to run out a double and slide, but can't keep it on the rest of the bases. And, of course, that is what we talked about. That's from Coach Flick. It says, P.S. Bischoff had the best eye at the plate ever in Stan Musial ball. Coach Flick, and there you go. But like you said.
That wasn't easy down at Portland either.
No.
Home of the Rockets.
Okay. All I'm going to say is this. I'm from Fort Wayne. You guys would come back from Portland, and the horror stories were unbelievable. We were up by 5 in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs. we lost. How did that happen? Oh, there was 2 guys out there wearing bib overalls doing that. That is unbelievable. It was just a horror story.
That's changed too. They bring guys in now, pretty. But one thing I want to mention, the big change over the 40 years is the quality of the fields. Yes. I mean, I look at the facilities. When I started, Homestead's field home plate was in the northwest corner, basically down the left field foul pole. Yep. Roughly in that area. There was 2 trees, I think, that were in play down the line. Mm-hmm. Bluffton, Indiana, and that was just before I started coaching. Their field was still down at, I want to say, Park, the old Bluffton High School field, where the goalposts were in deep left center.
Yeah, well, like Cherubusco, too.
Cherubusco as well. Carroll High School.
Yeah, it was a parking lot.
Carroll High School had a skin infield. And then I look at the facilities, around our area and across the state, for that matter. There's been such an improvement in the facilities, which speaks to the commitment by the communities and coaches who have really upgraded the facilities and made it a better opportunity for the kids to play on.
Well, and that's a testament to the coaches, because you know better than anybody, Bish, that if you're a football coach, you're not out cutting that grass on the gridiron. If you're the basketball coach, you're not mopping the floor on the basketball court. Someone else is doing it for you. If you're the baseball coach, guess what?
That's your job.
You're dragging the infield. You're cutting the grass. You are fertilizing. You're trimming up the baselines. You're lining the field. And you're doing just about everything. So, hats off to the coaches.
And as I was saying, when we were on the break, that leads into the quality of baseball we have at the high school level in this area. I think it's outstanding, because I think that coaches in this area, Coach Bish, Coach Ginder, Josh out at Snyder, they put a pride in the program. Mm-hmm. And the pride in the program is represent what? That name on the front of your jersey. Represent that name.
Yeah. Well, I learned that from Gary Rogers. Gary Rogers finally, after 32 years of coaching at Lures and having to play at Foster Park or McMillan, finally got a diamond in his own backyard. And you can tell how appreciative he is of that, because of the fact that he's turned that into a jewel. And it's one that drains really easily and quickly, where you can have games after a rainstorm where you maybe perhaps couldn't at others. And it's just a testament to him and Jim Sikafus, who put a lot of time in there. And the players. The players have to have a little commitment to their own diamond.
Remember I talked about groundskeep, scorekeep, and umpire?
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. Yep.
Hey, one last thing. Big shout out to Torrey Curry out at Southside. What they have done to their facilities out there in terms of the baseball, softball, unbelievable.
They're out at the old Elmhurst.
Yes, they are. It is unbelievable what they've done there, and what he's done with that entire athletic program is outstanding.
That's right. Well, we've got a proud Southside Archer alum, Mr. D.C. Hendricks, who played baseball there back in the day. Yeah. So, and that is something that it takes a little investment, a little blood, sweat, and tears, and a little sweat equity. We've got some more texts that have come in as well. Ask the gentleman what can be done to get more regional and especially semi-state baseball in Northeast Indiana.
Somebody needs to step up and sponsor. The IHSA wants to play in Parkview Field. I can guarantee you that. I was at the state finals this year, spoke to a lot of the people down there. They want to do that, but we need to have someone, a local high school or consortium, get together and get the ball rolling and sponsor it. That's basically it. They'll come here in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. They'll play that stadium in a heartbeat. I guarantee you that.
We just need a sponsor.
We need a sponsor. We need someone to step up.
All right.
It's going to require a lot.
Have another text that just came in. I believe both of you will be familiar with this gentleman. We'll mention it at the end. It says, Bish, agree the best pitcher I played with was Steve Reed. Best hitter, way too many to mention. Best baseball in Fort Wayne, 70s and 80s. Great high school coaches to compete against: Jones, Derb, Stav, Sherm, Chris Rude, and many more to mention. Congrats on a great career from a proud New Haven alum, Tom Muth, New Haven High School, 1973.
Let me say this. Best baseball team I ever saw, 1993, Elmhurst. Okay, and guess who beat them out at Wizard Stadium and just bunted them out of here? This guy.
That might have been, yes. That was the Snow and Loudon Elmhurst Trojans?
Marcasano.
And Marcasano.
When I heard that score, I went, he had to small ball them out of the stadium.
Didn't Elmhurst come in there unbeaten?
Yes. And then they turned around and won the ABC World Series out in New Mexico.
On any given day.
Yeah. Oh, there
That's
you go.
baseball.
There you go.
That's baseball.
Oh, my gosh. Once again, 447-8500, 260-447-8500. Got just a couple minutes left in the show that you can weigh in on the Goodwill Industries and Northeast Indiana text line. And for Dave Bischoff and James Craig and Tom Muth had the text that came in. We got to get Tom on as a guest because you talk about a player, a coach, an official. He's all three as well.
Yes, he is.
And in his time, I mean, my gosh, I grew up, and by the time I was getting to know what Stan Musial, Connie Mack was all about, he was there. And
I think Tom's high school team won a regional at New Haven, and I think they got beat by Andy Replogle when he was at South Bend Clay before he moved to
Okay, before he came in here, so Replogle was a sophomore. But then I made a post on Facebook about Shove Park recently, a few days ago, and Shove, and then it turned into Shove McMillan, and, just how many, back in the day, how much memory has been left with me from that diamond and McMillan too. But someone, commented that the hardest ball they ever saw hit was when Tom Muth hit a home run off of Andy Replogle. And I don't know if it was at Shove or McMillan, which neither one would have had a fence. And I guess, but Tommy turned on a ball and off of Andy Replogle, who was drafted. Was he drafted by the Brewers originally? Or the Dodgers?
With the Brewers.
Yeah, okay. And he was 72 out of Snyder after he came from South Bend Clay after his sophomore season. So, a whole lot of fun. Well, gentlemen, that's just about it. Okay, closing thoughts, Bish.
I think perhaps people thought we were maybe hard on the travel. I think that there's common ground between the high school and the travel. I always thought, I don't know how many 16U travel teams there are, but I think, I have had some kids that would have been able to play at the travel level from a financial standpoint. That I think we've lost some good players here in our area because of that. I would think it'd be neat if those 16U teams could get together and form some sort of Northeast Indiana League.
Yes.
And work with the high schools in terms of, I really think that there's some high school coaches that would give access to fields to accommodate that, to keep more kids playing locally. And then, if you still want to go out on the weekends, I think you'd be less travel and you're playing against the same similar competition you do on weekends.
Absolutely agree with that. Parents, everybody, buy a ticket, go out and enjoy high school baseball here locally. It's fun, gives back to the community. And you can enjoy some of this. Baseball's a lovely sport. Buy a ticket, go out and look at it. Enjoy it.
And another text that just came in. It says, Muth at Homestead, legendary.
Podcasts by Federated Media.